Hi, this is Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's question that we're going to tackle today is, should you respond to an AI-generated message from an executive recruiter? Now, before you answer, I want to give you a little backdrop. AI is being used, automation is being used. These are two different things. But they're being used to reach out to you as a candidate. Executive recruiters, recruitment firms across the board are using AI and automation to come up with lists of candidates through LinkedIn, through scouring the internet in different pockets, and they're coming up with lists of candidates and then reaching out, whether it's through email or whether it's through LinkedIn messaging or whatever platform it might be. And they're reaching out to you in what could seem like a pretty clear-cut message that is generated by AI, and it's not personal. It's usually pretty obvious. There's often very, general wording that's used in the outreach, nothing specific or custom to you about your background. It's usually something like, hey, I've taken a peek at your profile and I'm interested in chatting. Let me know if you would be interested in chatting with me, or something to that effect, right? And the question is, should you respond? So the answer, as with most answers, is it depends. But here are some things that you can take a look at to see if you should. I don't think it should be an automatic no. And here's why. Before I give you the parameters of what to look for, I want to walk you through why you shouldn't automatically shut it down. When you post to a job posting, right? Essentially, that is when the job posting is not custom to you, but you express interest and you submit your background. And that's what puts you under the process of being considered for the role. Well, when you get an AI-generated outreach message from an executive recruiter, it is somewhat qualified in that, hopefully they looked at your title, maybe where you've worked, the geography of where you're based, and that was the premise of whittling you down to be part of this list that they are now doing this automated, AI-driven outreach to. Now, a conversation could be worthwhile, right? So if you respond to them, they may not have personally tapped you to say, hey, do you want to talk? But by you expressing interest, they are going to then look at your background upon receiving your response. And if they have something for you, they're going to want to chat. So whether it's a job posting that you are submitting yourself to, or it's an AI-generated message that you are responding to, you are then, by your response, right, just like a job posting submission, you are giving a recruiter an opportunity to look at your background. So some of the things that I would do before responding is look at the executive recruiter background. Is this a background that seems pertinent to your field, your profession, your industry? Do they seem well connected? Do they seem established? If they do check any and all of those boxes, I would absolutely respond in hopes of them then taking a peek at your background and being interested in you and wanting to have a conversation. You can also respond with some general parameters about your background. I'm interested, I'm typically looking or being open to speaking about roles in this type of field, of this type of title, this type of industry. And if you want to get super specific, you can even mention a pay range. So this way, if something's below that, they don't waste your time. So these, and that's, again, these are all general pieces of advice. I don't suggest you just taking it and blindly running with it. I would still have a strategy in responding, but I wouldn't blanketly rule out AI-generated messaging as something that you don't respond to, because I think you're going to lose out, especially as more and more companies use AI messaging. It's a way to speedily reach out to as many potentially interesting candidates as possible, and then have that recruiter only spend the time with candidates who have expressed interest back. And once they've reviewed the background, indicate that they want to have a conversation with that particular candidate. One little caveat: if you respond back saying, I'd love to chat, and then they don't reach out, which I now know happens, right? We all know happens, right? It most likely was a AI-generated message that you expressed interest to. And then once they took a look at your background, of course, they should politely say that we don't have anything at this point, despite reaching out to you first, but most of them will ghost you. So if you don't get a response, don't worry about it. Just keep moving on and focus on the ones that respond. That's my motto. Focus on the ones that respond. But you got to constantly put yourself out there. But this is a new type of messaging that you're going to get from executive recruiters, and I wanted you to be aware of it. So with that said, if you'd like to learn more about working with executive recruiters, I have an hour-long free training session that you can register for. It's at workwithexecrecruiters.com, and it's on demand, so you can watch it anytime by registering using that link, that URL, workwithexecrecruiters.com. And this way you can learn more about how to work with executive recruiters in the upcoming year and know what they can do, what they can't do, know how to engage with them, how to be a resource for them, and make sure that you get the call first when they get an opening. That's all the stuff that I talk about on that hour-long training. Go to workwithexecrecruiters.com. So if you think this will help someone, I'm going to ask you to share it. If you've liked this video, I'm going to ask you to like it. Feel free to comment below or shoot me any questions at lr@chameleonresumes.com or through LinkedIn messaging. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so this way you do not miss next week's video. And look forward to seeing you on the training. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.